In-depth coverage of the top stories and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 1080 KRLD.
I'm running because I'm fearful of the future of the country. I have children. I have a grandson. And I want to be sure that they have the opportunities that I had along the way, seizing that path where you can better your life if you choose to without a lot of intervention from an overreaching government.
You come to us from the business world, former CEO of several national chains. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I came to Dallas in late 85, 86, and that was the time when, I came from the Midwest, and everything seemed to be possible in Texas, and for me it really was. I came with my life savings, a little over $11,000, and I got into the pizza business, and I've been self-employed ever since. Along the way, I've built 2 national chains, and I've employed over the years thousands of people, and through franchising, the model of franchising have made it possible for other people to kind of live their version of the American dream. And that's the way it worked for me. I'm blessed to be in Texas and obviously blessed to be an American. And I want to be sure that is possible for the generations to come.
We've heard from a lot of national pundits that Republicans are definitely motivated these midterms. Do you find that to be the case?
Well, I think we've got an excellent lineup of candidates, particularly here in Dallas County, including District 32, the job I'm attempting to get. I think it's a group of energized, engaged candidates that are wanting to take full responsibility for the jobs that they seek. And it's exciting. I've done a lot of candidate forums and a lot of things with these candidates. And I'm happy to be voting for them and proud to be a Republican. So I'll be in Washington, and on my first day, I won't be beholden to anyone. I haven't taken any patent dollars. Nobody with any special interest has any weight or influence on me. I will be arriving in Washington with sort of my virginity intact, if you will. And for me, the job is about one thing. It's representing the people of the 32nd district and try to bring some responsibility back to government, particularly on the fiscal side.
You've been going around talking to a lot of Texans. What do you think the issues are that matter most to them?
Austin, I've talked to thousands of people since declaring my candidacy, and it's really interesting what's important to different people. Most people the thing that, affects us all, obviously, is inflation, the price of fuel, the price of food in the grocery store is staggering. And inflation seems to be the number one thing. I think crime, safety of our streets and the cities, that's important too, but it kind of depends who you talk to. There are some people that believe, obviously, abortion is at the top of a lot of people's lists. And then on the other side, the environment. I hear it all. And it's important to listen, and I listen to everybody and kind of take into consideration what everybody believes is their number one thing. But I can tell you the things that affect both parties, regardless of your political persuasion, are the things that I'm focused on.
Obviously, you and Congressman Allred share different parties. What are some of the main differences that you feel separate you from him?
I think we have completely different ideologies with respect to the role of government in your life. Mr. Allred is a big spend guy, a big government guy, a permanent Washington guy. I believe government should serve its people with the smallest possible government in the most efficient way and take the least amount of tax dollars from people but get more out of it. And I don't think they do that. We're very different. Mr. Allred is a member of the World Economic Forum, a globalist organization. I'm someone that loves my country as a sovereign nation, and that's just one more point of difference. Another thing that I think, based on kind of what I've seen and what little interaction I've had with Mr. Allred, is he doesn't believe that the debt is a big deal and continues to vote in favor of raising the debt ceiling and continues to vote in favor of very, very expensive spending programs. I know as a businessman, that never ends well for a business. And if we continue down this path, it's not going to end well for our nation either.
You talked a little bit about crime. I also hear from a lot of Republicans that the border issues are of maximum concern. Do you find that to be the case in your campaign?
Well, I think border security and public safety sort of ride in the same car, if you will. I've made the trip to the border recently, spent 2 days and 2 nights in the Del Rio sector. I wanted to get a firsthand look at the situation. I talked to several Border Patrol agents. I witnessed the entire process of people coming in the water on one side of the river and coming out of the water on our side, and how they get processed and checked in the whole thing. And I tell you what, it has to stop. This is no way to run a sovereign nation. People think that the border's not controlled. It's not controlled on the U.S. side. That's true, but it's heavily controlled on the Mexican side of the border. People are told when they can get in the water, what size group, and exactly what to do when they get out on the other side. And they do it. I would agree, and I'll be the first to say 3 million plus or minus available visas for a country of 340 million is not enough. And I would be in favor of increasing that number, but also putting in a system where we know exactly who it is that's coming into our country, a sponsorship program like we used to have, to know that these new residents aren't going to end up in one of the many entitlement programs that we offer our citizens. So there's many things that I would do different. I think every congressman should go to the border and do the same trip that I had, and then come back, go to their constituents and say, yeah, I've been there and it's not a problem. Absolutely, it's a problem.
So why you? Why would a voter look at Mr. Swad and say, he's my candidate?
I would say, give me a try. Try me. The nice thing about our system, if you don't like the work I've done on your behalf, you can fire me in 2 years. But to vote for an incumbent on his 3rd consecutive term, when you have 2 full Congresses of probably the most liberal voting record, if not the most liberal voting record in Congress, big tax, big spend kind of guy. Let's go a different path. I mean, look around. Is anyone actually really happy with the way things are going in the direction the country's gone? Whether it's inflation that's your big button, or safety and security of your family, whatever it is, there's plenty of opportunities to improve. And I would say, give me a shot and see how well I represent you in Washington.
And just like Congressman Allred, I'm going to give you the last word. What would you like voters to know about your campaign?
Well, I think what we really need to consider with not just myself, but with several of the candidates, if you're looking for change, if you really are sincere and you're looking for change, you have to elect agents of change, people that will go to Washington, in my case, go to Washington, not beholden to anyone, with just one mission, and that's to serve and represent the people that hire me. You can't expect government to change and keep electing the same people and then not hold them accountable. I invite the people of the 32nd District to hold me accountable the entire time, and if you don't like it in 2 years, I understand that's how the process works. So if you want change, you got to vote for change, and I represent that.